Hello and welcome to Marriott MBA Today. I'm your host, Cameron Rich, and here to discuss his experience at the National Black Conference is Mark Helberg. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's start out by talking about what the National Black Conference is.
Yeah, so National Black Conference, this year was held in Indianapolis. It was a really large conference, diversity conference, so you actually have a lot of companies, tons of companies that are there present looking for recruiting for different positions, all types of functions, and so.
Okay. Was it a one-day thing or was it multiple days, a whole day?
National Black was a 2-day thing. It's actually a long event with other supplemental events that they have. You know, you can go to different info sessions, different networking tips, and presentations and things, but the actual career expo itself was only 2 days.
Okay, and let's talk a little bit about your experience that you had while you were there.
Yeah, you know, I was really surprised about how it went down. You know, I was expecting, to have a lot of companies, but the first time I walked in, I was just impressed and a little blown away actually by how many companies there were. It's just this massive conference hall, and so really started to begin with how I was going to approach that and what companies I wanted to talk to.
I talked to some other students who were there, and they actually told me every time they saw you, you had another interview. So I want to know your secret. How did you get all these interviews?
Yeah, I was fortunate to have some success. There really is a lot of strategy that goes into those conferences and how your plan of attack. We hear a lot of the time that it begins with preparation, and really, I feel that it really does. I had a list of all the companies that I was interested in, and all of the different positions that they had posted and what particularly interested me about them. I had my binder that I carried around me with all those positions and companies, and before I would go to each booth, I would review that and what position they had. And I really focused on 3 questions that I wanted to be solid on my answers. Why this company? Why this position? And how my experiences up to this point have made me a good fit for them.
Okay, and when you approached people that were there, did you try to sell yourself originally, or did you just start asking them questions and then work it into a sales pitch? Or
I did. I introduced myself, and who I was, where I was from, my background a little bit, and what position I was really interested in. Something that I really felt good about was making a connection. You have to make a connection with that recruiter. You got to put yourself in their position. They're there all day talking to so many different people.
I agree, because I actually had the opportunity to represent the company that I did my internship with at a consulting night, and the students that were most effective would come up to me, they would introduce themselves, and then they would start talking to me about what they liked about the company, and it naturally led into a conversation rather than them just starting to ask me a bunch of questions.
Actually.
Where everybody would ask me questions, but they were able to tell me what they liked, and then that led into a conversation.
Absolutely.
So you said you had 3 tips, so let's continue on those.
Yeah, so building on that, making a connection idea is, building on your idea was, I tried to hold off my resume, passing my resume off to them as long as I could. Okay. I would wait until they would ask for it. And the reason is because we could then start to form that connection, actually build a conversation, not having them just read and scan down my resume. I didn't want to become just another piece of paper. I wanted to build that relationship.
Okay, that's great.
And then, as the conversation progressed, you really want to sell what's being bought. And it really helped me to understand, what they were looking for as our conversation progressed, and then mold and pull out specific experiences from my, whether it be work experience or schooling, education, that could really apply and fit in that situation. So. Okay,
so to recap, we have preparation, build a connection, sell what's being bought.
Yeah.
There we go. All right. Well, Mark, thanks for stopping by, and thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.